Well, the New Orleans City Council has had a busy start to the new year, from having a hand in the search for a new NOPD police chief to focusing on solutions to the ongoing crime problem in the city. And today we're joined by City Councilman Joe Giarrusso III to give us an update. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning.
And I just mentioned you have a hand in the selection process for the new NOPD chief, but it doesn't really feel that way. I know you sent the mayor a list of things you would like to see done, and you wanted some sort of committee where you guys were in the loop. Has any of that happened? Not
so far, Leslie. Well, look, we want this to be a collaborative process. This has to be the mayor's office, this has to be the community, it has to be part of the council, and we want to just make sure everybody's engaged so we pick the best possible chief.
Right, and I mean, you wanted it to be a national search. It seems like they sort of agreed to that. I mean,
well,
has anything happened?
It's been weird because the mayor has not said no to the national search, but not a full embrace of the national search at the same time. So one of the things we're going to discuss at the budget committee today is what do we do to right size the salary of the NOPD chief, and then also what other benefits we can look at to try and induce somebody to come here.
And some of the news we heard yesterday, you guys will have a special meeting next week to address crime. What does that entail? Where do you even start on that?
I think everything is on the table. I'm sort of at a what's old is new again, which is there's so many things we've been talking about for such a long time. Where do we stand? We've been talking about recruiting. How much further along are we there? We've been talking about retention, all this money that we've given NOPD. Where are we there? We've talked about augmentation with civilians and outsiders. Where are we on all of those things? The intervention that we all need. Those are the things I want to focus on because we've been discussing these things for so long and we just don't have concrete answers right now.
Yeah, gosh. And then this isn't within your district at all, but car break-ins downtown during Saints and Pelicans game. Yesterday, you guys had the special committee where all 5 members did vote in favor to have parking attendants in these parking lots during professional football games, like if there's a Mardi Gras ball, if you're so close to proximities where there's going to be large gatherings. And I know we heard from both sides and a lot of things make sense, but I think President J.P. Morrell, it really hit home when he said that, you know, we're so low on officers right now. We know it's going to cost the people who own the parking lots more money to hire these attendants. But he said it's a cost everybody has to bear right now just because of the dire situation.
Well, I think that's right, number one. And then remember, too, we're talking about special events in particular, not just run-of-the-mill things.
Right.
So you're already paying a premium to be there. So what's another $1 or $2 on top of that? And I thought Councilmember King made a really good point, too. Grocery stores frequently have armed security guards. It's the exact same situation. So we just want to make sure people are safe. I know Councilmember King is committed to continue to work on this and make sure we get the legislation as tight as possible.
And over the weekend, there were some arrests, and it was because there was an attendant at that parking lot who kind of tried to break it up and called the cops. What do you have to say to the people who own these parking lots that yesterday said it's too dangerous for attendants?
Well, it's a real concern. So I think we need to work with them on what they all want to do. Does that mean we need to hire somebody as security from the sheriff's office or from an outside agency? What do we want to do? Because I don't want somebody unarmed who doesn't know what they're doing having to confront somebody who is.
So the 5 of you guys voted in favor of that. What happens next, though? It's got to go to the full committee.
It's got to go to the full council. That will be this Thursday coming up, but in council time, that's an eternity. So there's lots of time to make sure we can have those necessary changes that I think everybody's looking for.
Okay, let's talk about trash now. I know this is such an ongoing issue. Richard's disposal has been behind, and I didn't realize that everything that went into this. Okay, so they're trying to catch up. You guys have brought in some other, or the city's brought in some other trash haulers to try to help them catch up, but I didn't realize the reason why they're backed up. So tell us more about that.
Well, I think there's 3 main reasons. 2 of them predate what's happened recently. One is there's been this can dispute. They say they pick up more cans than the city pays them for. So that's been going on for a long time. Then number 2, think about after COVID and Ida, they collected a lot more trash because people are at home and not at work. So they weren't being paid for that. So there is a bona fide dispute between Richards and the city for that amount of time. And then we have a new contract in place in the old service area. They're being paid 75%, 100% more than Richards is. So you have a field that isn't level anymore, so they're having trouble competing.
because Richards is having their employees leave and go to these other contracts because they're making more money, so they're short-staffed and that's why they're behind. Is that the reason?
That's exactly, Leslie, you said it perfectly. That is exactly the reason. And look, my problem is everybody could see this coming. Once you start paying somebody, and I'm just going to make up numbers, $50 an hour, somebody else $25 an hour, people are going to go for the 50-hour jobs. So we just need to make sure, though, that trash is being picked up and then making sure that we get our vendors whole.
So the city's putting together what they call like a wellness package to help them get back up to date. Do we have the money to pay for that?
Yes, we have the money. One thing that is not a problem right now in the city of New Orleans, almost unique in our history, is we have money for things. And that's one of the things I'm really focused on.
Well, let's spend it then.
Well, that's where I am. That's what I completely say is let's stop using not having money as an excuse. Management may be an issue, labor may be an issue. Money is no longer a reason to not do something. And for me, what I always want to do is if there's a reason something is a problem, that's fine, but we got to stop with the excuses.
Right. I mean, you guys are trying so hard and you have such great ideas. Yeah, just implementing them seems like it's so hard.
Well, we want to make sure that now that you have the money, you do it. And so that's why we're going to have our budget quarterly meetings beginning in March.
Okay.
We've unlocked all of this money. We're prepared to unlock more money for different departments. Show us what you are doing so that residents can see those things.
Joe Giarrusso, thank you so very much for coming in.
Thank you.
And explaining things for us. All right, let's get over to Michelle now.